These are my standard 1 heat nails. They're not as precise as a 2 heat, but they get pretty centered up, so that's what counts. But the shanks can be a little bit wonky, but anyway, when you gotta do 300, sometimes it's nice to get those busted out in 1 heat. But now I'll slow down and do a 2 heat. It's 5. I do a stack of 10, put 1 in my 10s bowl, 9 in my other bowl. That way I got this bowl here, I got 6, that means I have 60 total done. Today I gotta get out an order of 150, 1.5 inches, and then a staggered order, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inch. I think that one's a 36 order. Now I'll do 2 heat. With the 2 heat, I can slow down a little bit, make the shank really pretty. Cut, bend, heat, then snap, and do the head with a real high heat instead of that low heat. The 2 heat nail is a lot easier on the arms because you're not hitting it cold, you're not getting that feedback through your arms. And this is an old Viking style nail header. A longer, skinnier shank would be easier on the vibrations, but I like this one. A little more subdued hammering, finish work. I do a nice rolled cut instead of the 4 to 6 hit chop. Leaving an 1/8 inch or less, 45 in it, or 90, whatever you can get out of it. That keeps the tip up out of most of the heat. Keeps the head in the heat. I've tried working 2 irons at once this way. It really just slows me down. Keep 1 iron in and just find your rhythm. Set hit. Then drop the head. Check for straightness, good, quench. Pop it out, set it up. Heat's ready. I'll bend one leg, straighten the other to get a lower piece because I need to raise my anvil slightly. It's dropped into my floor a little bit. You get the cut too close and too cold, when you bend it, you'll feel it start to crackle and rip. You just kind of got to practice and get used to how much you can bend it before it breaks off. Otherwise, then you got to pick it up with the tongs, heat it with the tongs, put it in with the tongs. It just adds another 30 seconds or more to the process. Set, drop. Good blows. Seven. off more than I wanted there, so I worked my way back up a little bit. It's worth the extra time to make sure I cut the right amount, because if I cut too much, it'll fold over on the header, and I got to chuck it and start all over. So even if I'm just working 1 heat nails, it's worth it to stop, cut what I want, do a 2 heat nail in the middle of the process. Just kind of gauge by how the nail's forming up, whether or not I want to reheat it, or whether I want to try to push it through. Eight. When you made over 1,000 nails, you get pretty good at gauging your length and your thickness. It will, on different nail holes, take a little bit of visual and muscle memory to get used to the diameter of shank that you're working. But once you get into that rhythm, you can pretty much eyeball it. You don't really have to go back and check every time. Nine. Right after every 10, I'll wet my coal because I only need that tiny bit of heat, so I don't want to keep spreading out my fire. So that's 10, and that one's pretty well centered up. What I do add now to some of these, this one's a little wonky, but I add a stamped ring, and that's about the diameter I can gauge by when I'm setting down that head, that if I'm really lopsided I can tell as I'm going down, and that'll help try to keep you centered up. This order was for 150 1.5-inch nails, and as you can see, it's pretty close just by eyeball. So that's my process. That's 10, 5 1 heats, 5 2 heats. One goes in the 10s bucket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. 70 done, and just about halfway there. So anyway, I hope that helps, just to give you a little process of my production line work. I do have to be careful. I was starting to wear up a nice blister here. I kind of keep some talc, and I'll keep this area smoothed out, and I'll keep this area moist, because I've been having to cinch down a little harder on the hammer. I was building up too much varnish from the old grease off my hands and dirt and beeswax that I've been used, so I just recently sanded back down the handle. So I got a nice smooth grip again, took some filing to it where the the grain was popping out and that was starting to rub a little bit. So just slight updates to your tools like that can prevent some pain later on. Yes, I do forge with my hot cut in. It slows me down to shift back over, and oh, it's dangerous. Well, I made over 1,000 nails, and I've never come anywhere near hitting this thing. That's not where my hand goes. It's not in the path of my swing. So if you have a big anvil and you have the room and you're smart, be careful. But I know it's a peeve of some blacksmiths. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I almost forgot. I only worked down to 10 inches, 12 inches, something like that, and then I'll actually forge weld these two pieces together and start drawing back out again. It's just it saves me from having a whole stack of these left over and from using tongs. I'll try to do one right now for you. It's always good to practice your forge welds, especially on small pieces like that, because it's a fiddly bit, just a 1/4 inch round like that. I will pull out a scarf on each one, get them up the welding heat, put a little bit of borax on them, lay one down, try to get a tack to stick. If it does, and it goes back in, heated, weld as normal. For that, I like using my smaller hammer. Scarf there. This little stub I'm using here is probably, it's been my handle for about 8 sticks so far. Anyway, get those heated back up. Sure, I tend my fire. Flux on there, get it back in, get it heated up. The tricky part for me is when it's so bright and I don't have my shades on to get the right scarf sitting up. Get a stick, that's good. Try to go quickly. Now, I didn't overlap my scarves very far, so I'm going to have a thinner section here than the rest. That's okay, all I need it for is the handle. When I get to that point, I'll probably cut it off and bring in a new piece. I wanted one more stick there in the center before I started working my scarves back down into flat stock. will probably overheat a little bit. It is only mild steel. If I wanted to make it pretty, I'd go one more and hide the welds, but there's no reason. All I needed to do is stick and hold while I start the rest of my run of nails. It's hard for me to see my screen here, so hopefully that's picking up all right, but that's all I need. Keeps it on there and I can keep working without having to use tongs or waste any more material. So thanks again.